Hello, good morning. It is Monday morning, November 21st. I'm Lisa, also known as Fiber Nymph. Welcome to my channel. It has been a minute since I have done a regular episode, so I thought today would be a good morning to do that. It's bright and sunny out there and very, very cold. We went from having unseasonably warm weather to suddenly having winter, including some snow on the ground. I'm not complaining. It was just a very abrupt change. So we've had fires in the fireplace for over a week now, and it's been absolutely delicious. And it's been sweater weather. And I have two sweaters to talk to you about today, which is also very exciting. How have you been? I did put up one episode. Do you like how I asked that? How have you been? Let's move on. No, I hope you've been well. And if you're new here and this is the first time you've watched one of my episodes, welcome. I appreciate you checking us out. And by us, I mean me. I don't know why I said us. I do not have multiple personalities that I'm aware of. Who knows? Anyway, yes, I did do one extra episode since the last time I recorded a regular kind of project-y episode, and that was my dream knitting video that I put up towards the beginning of November. So I hope you enjoyed that. We're going to actually revisit a few of those projects today, which is also very exciting. Other than that, I did put up a couple of members videos, so if you're one of the members of the Fiber Nymph Dye Works channel, you would have had access to those. If you'd like to become a member of my channel, I would greatly appreciate it. It helps support the channel and my ability to make extra episodes and extra content for the channel. You can see all the information about that below this video. You should see a little button that says join. If it's different on all devices, it seems. So if you don't see it down there, you can go to the main Fiber Nymph Dye Works channel page on YouTube, and there should be information there about becoming a member or joining. Basically, it gets you some extra content throughout the month, and I hope to add other perks as I go along with that, but I do try to put up some regular extra content as we go. So basically what's been going on here is me being completely engrossed in getting the holiday countdown sets for this year finished and sent out, which I did get them all sent out by last Monday, which was amazing. I'm pretty sure that everybody has theirs by now, unless you're not in the United States. I know I had 2 people from Canada order, and hopefully theirs will get there this week. But the last I checked, there were only a couple of outstanding non-delivered ones in the United States. So, but I haven't checked since late last week. So we'll see. I'm assuming most people have gotten theirs. But anyway, if you did order and you got it, I hope you enjoy it whenever you decide to use it. Some people do start December 1st. Other people use them in other time frames. Whatever's great for you, go for it. And I just hope you really enjoy it. I loved putting them together. I enjoy them every year, even though they're so much work, and I always feel like I'm scrambling at the end. And this year was sort of extra crazy, but it all got done, and that's what's important. So my coffee is already half cold. I may have to heat it up. Anyway, what else is going on? Oh, with regard to the holiday countdown sets, I do have some extra sets. I always dye extras just in case something happens somewhere along the way. I'm going to be putting those up in the shop. Probably they should be up in the shop by the time this video goes live, which I'm hoping will be later today. Did I already say it's Monday? It's November 21st. Yeah. So I'm hoping to have those in the shop by later today when this video goes live. So if you did not order, do a pre-order for a holiday countdown set and you're still interested in one, check the shop. I have some fiber ones and I have some yarn ones. I also have some extra day 25 items. All of those, it's all kind of a la carte at this point. Well, it always was, but you can pick and choose from whatever's available. So look at the listing, see what's available, and if you're interested, there you go. What else? I think with that, I'm just going to do a little bit of shop news right here at the top. If you're not interested in shop news, no problem. Just jump ahead. I will have a timestamp letting you know when the crafty stuff's going to start. But I just wanted to let you know I have a new colorway going up into the shop today as well. The listing isn't up, but again, it will be up by the time this video is live. And it is going up as a pre-order, and it's one of my new holiday colorways for this year. And this is what it looks like, and it's called Jingle. And it is called Jingle because it was inspired by all of the fun colors of jingle bells that you can find. And to that end, I've made jingle bell stitch marker sets. So each set will come with 4 little jingle bell stitch markers and then a larger jingle bell progress keeper. So I'm going to sit these down because I've already done this once and dumped them all over the floor. So we want to avoid that. So anyway, the sets will be available extra. They're not included with the yarn. Although I am toying with the idea of maybe including 1 little stitch marker with each skein just because it would be fun. I don't know. Don't hold me to that yet. Look at the listing and then you'll see if that's what's happening. But there will be sets available. There will be the self-striping yarn. The sample was knit up on my bounce base. So here it is on bounce. And I will have it on several other bases as well. It's going up, did I say it's going up as a pre-order, which will ship out probably in about 2 weeks. Just because I'm getting a late jump on my holiday colorways, I wanted to make sure that people had the opportunity to get something without waiting till closer to the holidays. Because this year has just been weird, as we know. And my schedule was not as it usually would be because I would usually have been putting holiday colorways up for several weeks now, and it's only starting now. But anyway, Jingle will be going up in the shop for pre-order today. Also, along with that, I'm going to have all 7 of the Jingle colors on minis. I'm also thinking I'm probably going to put up an option for an add-on to get 2 mini skeins to go with your striping set. I haven't decided how I'm doing that since there are 7 colors. I feel like I don't really want to pick your colors for you. So again, look at the listing to see how I decide to do that. But that'll also be, an add-on option if you would like. So that will be in the shop. Another thing that is in the shop now, and you would have already gotten this in a newsletter if you're subscribed to my newsletter, which as I always tell you is the best way to know what's going on. But the Down Cellar Studio Pigskin Party colorway that I did offer as a pre-order, excuse me, an unseen pre-order, so it was a surprise. Last month, both of the pre-order shipments have gone out and it now is in the shop at large, and this is what the colorway looks like. This is Trick Play number 1. It's a 5-color colorway, 5-color colorway that repeats in a very long repeat because of the way it goes back and forth. So this is where it's getting ready to start over right here. So this is Trick Play number 1. This is what it looks like wound into a ball. I did not bring a skein in, sorry. And then this also has optional add-ons of this mini set, which is a graphite gray, and then this is actually all 5 colors in this done up as a variegated. I love doing little variegated minis for, heels or toes or whatever you want to do. So that is also in the shop right now. What else? I told you about the extra holiday countdown sets. Hoping to get more things put up before this weekend because this is like the big holiday weekend, which I have a love-hate relationship with this. I will say I am going to be offering free shipping on all U.S. orders, regardless of whether there's the $50 minimum or not. So all orders this weekend will ship for free to the U.S., not international. That's still the flat rate $20 shipping. I want to do something special for Small Business Saturday. I just haven't decided what yet. So again, being on my newsletter is the best way to find out about that kind of stuff. I will be sending out a newsletter regarding Small Business Saturday probably on Thursday. There will be one going out today though about Jingle. So it'll be a 2 newsletter week. Anyway, that's about it for the shop right now. Yeah, so let's move into the knitting. And the first thing you can see is I'm wearing my Ramona cardigan and I fixed it. Remember, if you watched my dream knitting video, I talked about the fact that when I finished this last February, I'm pretty sure, the sleeves were just way too long, but at that point I was so over this sweater and didn't want to do anything else with it. But I pulled it out one day. I just had a little bit of time one morning and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to pull this out. It shouldn't take long to fix. And it didn't. I fixed the sleeves in probably under an hour. So I'll stand up so you can see. Actually, it's hard to show you. I'll have to get out of the frame, but that's how long the sleeves are now. They had been like way down to here. It was sort of ridiculous. And you can see the sleeve does not have that weird angly fast decrease that I had initially knit into it. Excuse me. So essentially I just ripped the sleeves back to that weird angly decrease, and I picked up all the stitches. I went down, I think 2 needle sizes maybe, and did the ribbing, 1 or 2 needle sizes. It's in my project notes. And just did about 1.5 inches of ribbing and called it quits. And it's perfect. It's just lovely. I've been wearing this sweater a bunch. In fact, I've also been pairing it when I go out because it has been cold. And this is a very warm sweater. The yarn is Briggs & Little Heritage, which depending on where you look, it's either listed as a worsted or an Aran. I would call it an Aran. So it's very heavy, very woolly, and very warm, and also very covered in both probably my hair and cat hair at this point. But I've been pairing it with this shawl that I knit earlier this year. This was the Zen Shawl that I knit using my February Stash Yarn Challenge yarn, which was the colored set of minis. So that was my Stash Yarn Challenge yarn, and though I don't remember off the top of my head what this undyed yarn was, I can't remember. I'd have to look in my show notes, or why am I calling them the show notes? My project notes. But anyway, it goes really well with this, and I just love how it looks, and it's so warm and cozy. And I forget where I was walking into the grocery store or something one day, and as I was walking in, the security guard that was standing there looked at me. He's like, "You look very warm." He was so serious about it. I'm like, "Thank you, I am." So yeah, it's been great. I'm very happy with both of these items because I haven't gotten to wear this yet because I think I knit this in February as well. But yeah, so, and I do remember correctly when I knit the Zen Shawl, I really winged it. I used the pattern sort of as a guideline, but I did a lot of my own stuff with it. I have details about both this and this sweater on my in the project notes on both Ravelry and on my Favorite Day website. I'll link to both of those in the show notes. And now, and the sweater is by Elizabeth Smith. I believe that's the designer of the Ramona Cardigan. I would like to make a Ramona pullover, I think. That might be on my list for next year. I'm trying to see. Ramona, yep, Elizabeth Smith. So anyway, information about needle size and all that, check the project notes. I'm going to pause and I'm going to go do a quick change to show you the other sweater that I have to introduce to you. I'm back, and here's my second one. It's finished. It's my Weekender Light by Andrea Mowry. I'm so happy with how this sweater turned out. Okay, I'm going to try to stand up and let you get a full view of it. I'm not sure how well this is going to work. Yeah, it's not working great. Let me move the chair out of the way. There we go. Now I can back up a bit. There's so much stuff on the floor in here. Anyway, so this is how long it is. So this is my hip up here. So it's, it's not quite tunic length, but it's definitely long, and I like the length. You can get a good, I'll try to get close enough so you can kind of see the improvised cable detail that I did in the front and in the back. It's the same in the back. Okay, and the sleeve length, I'm going to talk a little bit more about all this stuff once I sit down, but I just want you to be able to see the sleeve length. I have not gotten a chance to, so there's my elbow, sorry. So it's a few inches below my elbow. Not quite 3/4 length, I don't think, but longer than elbow length. Okay. There we go. Okay, so let me talk to you about this. This is vaguely The Weekender Light by Andrea Mowry. I modified the bejesus out of it because you might remember, if you've been watching, I made a regular Weekender, the worsted weight version, last year or 2 years ago. I can't remember when I finished that. Anyway, I did that out of hand spun. I had done a combo spin specifically to make that sweater. I love it now. It took me a while to get to a point where I really liked it. Mainly, I did not love the fact that it was reverse stockinette facing out. That's not my jam. I just don't love that. And so when I do wear it, I wear it inside out. So the stockinette side is facing out. That sweater is designed to have, let's see, can you see it here? Did I do that? Oh, I did, but I did it on the outside. It's supposed to have this slip stitch detail running up, which I did start to do on this one. But as you can see, slip stitches like this, other than where the colors change, they don't really show up super well. So that's why I decided to do this improvised cable detail, which I did do reverse stockinette inside all these little bubbles. Anyway, so that was the biggest thing that I wanted to change from when I did my first Weekender. I knew I wanted this to be stockinette. The yarn, by the way, is my Fiber Nymph Dye Works Bounce Base in the dark rainbow. This was one of the dark rainbow half skein project sets that I had in the shop earlier this year. And I will probably dye up some more to put in the shop sometime soon, since I have this finished and I can share it, and maybe somebody else would like to try to make something like this. Anyway, so that was my first modification. I decided to do it stockinette side out. And then I put the cable detail down the middle so that something would stand out. If I made this project again, I think I would probably just eliminate anything down the middle and just have it be a really simple pullover. But we'll see. I don't have a plan to make another one of these anytime super soon, but it's always a possibility. So let's see, what else did I modify? I realized as I was knitting this one that when I made the first one, I apparently completely ignored the shoulder shaping information, because I did not do that on my first one. And that's probably part of the reason why I don't love how it fits up top. But I did do it here, and you work with a lot of short rows. So you can see starting right here, there's the green, and then starting with this blue stripe, there's a whole sequence of short rows going up here that shapes, gives you your shoulder shape. Fits so much nicer that way. I did do the ribbed section at the top of each of the front and the back. I did not do the 3 needle bind off that the pattern calls for. Instead, I Kitchenered. I've never Kitchenered ribbing before, so I did end up looking up a video for that. And that was, I'm pretty sure it was a Very Pink Knits video. It's super easy. It was not difficult at all, but I'm one of those strange people who actually loves Kitchenering. So maybe that's why it was easier for me. I don't know. But yeah, and actually my second shoulder, I don't remember which one's first and which one's second at this point, but my second one was much neater than the first one, but I did not take the first one back out. I just went with it. It's fine. And then by the time I got done with the body, I didn't have a lot of yarn left of any of the 6 colors to do the sleeves. They are, it's a drop shoulder sleeve. So I did think about just maybe doing a little bit of ribbing at the cuffs and leaving it as a sleeveless top. But then I thought, I don't know that I would get as much wear out of that, because I don't tend to wear wool tops once it starts to get warmer. So instead I thought, well, I'll just see what I can do with the yarn that I have left. The only problem was the red I was almost completely out of, and I think that's because my final color and in the ribbing was the red, so it got used more than all of the other colors. So I did end up dyeing an extra 20-gram mini in the red, which actually it worked really well. I was not sure, because this is a pretty random dye technique I use for these colors, but it worked out fine. So I was able to do 3 sets of color repeats for the sleeves, and that's how long I got with it. I tried 4 different things for finishing my sleeves. The first thing I tried was I went down a full needle size because I knit most of this sweater on a 3. My notes said that I was also using a 4, but I don't think I ever went up to a 4. I did the beginning ribbing, like at the bottom. I did a split hem. That's the other thing. That's not part of the pattern. I did a split hem because I prefer it. But that ribbing, I'm sure I did on 3s. I do not think I went up to a 4 for the body because I know my tension with knitting with fingering weight, and it works best on 3s. So I'm pretty sure I did this whole sweater in a 3. The only time I went down then was to do this ribbing here. And I went down to a 2, and I did 1x1 ribbing, and it was way too tight. It just pulled everything in, and for this length, it just looked really funny. Also, I was trying to make it longer since I did have a good bit of the red left at that point. It just looked funny, so I ripped that out. And then, what did I do? I went back up to the 3, and I tried to do, I think I did like a 4x2 rib. I tried that, and that did not look good at all. That was just too big and poofy and flary. So then I thought, okay, well maybe I will just continue knitting down in stockinette and knit far enough that I could do a turned up edge. And so I did that, and then I think I did like 10 rounds, turned it up, and then bound it off as I was picking up stitches on the inside for that turned cuff. That I did not like at all either. It also kind of stuck out. Maybe it would have worked if I would have gone down a needle size, but I just didn't like the way it looked anyway. So ripped it out for a 3rd time, and then I went with this is still the 3, no, I went down to a 2.5 millimeter needle. No, a US 2.5 needle. I don't remember what the millimeters are. Anyway, and then I did a 3x3 rib, which lays nice and flat, doesn't do any weird curling, it's not flaring, it's perfect. So yay, I was able to get this sleeve done, and this one flew because I knew exactly what I needed to do. So that was probably my biggest sticking point, was just getting that cuff done. Everything else just went really well, and even though I had a huge lull where I did not work at all on this sweater for about 2 months, when I had finished one half of the body, the top body, and I was worried that when I went to the other half of it that I would not remember what I was doing with this cable. But honestly, it was pretty intuitive. I could just look and see, oh, it needs to go out this far in this color. It worked fine. So anyway, all that to say is I really love this sweater. I'm so happy with how it turned out. It's one of my favorite things, I think, that I have knit this year, or ever, like a garment. And you'll remember, this is only my 2nd fingering weight sweater. The other one was the Simple Stripes pullover that I did earlier this year by Suvi Samola. And I love that one too. So I foresee other fingering weight tops in my future. I was always put off by them because I'm larger, and it just felt like doing fingering weight was going to take forever. And it does take a little longer, but this flew by. I was just doing 4 rows of each color and then switching. And it's kind of like self-striping yarn. This was not self-striping. It was 6 individual skeins, but it's similar. It's like you just want to get to the next stripe. Just want to get to the next stripe. Oh, that's the other thing I did in this sweater it was an experiment. And that was, I did not weave in ends on this sweater, not in the traditional sense. I did all of my color changes using a clasped weft join. I've used that on scrappy projects like a scrappy hat or scrappy socks. I've never done that in a garment before, so I did it in this one just because I was curious as to how it would hold up. Now, this is what the inside of my sweater looks like. I had to leave most of the ends like that because they do have a tendency to want to like work their way out and boink out towards the outside, and if they're too short, they'll definitely do that. If they're longer, you can just kind of reach in and pull them back in. So I don't know how that's going to hold up over time. I will put a link, I will try to remember to put a link to a video that Jen from Down Cellar Studio did demonstrating how you do a clasped weft join. I do mine a wee little bit different than the way she shows it, but it's still basically the same thing. It's just such an easy way to work with your ends when you're changing colors so often. So fingers crossed this holds up. I know if it had been non-superwash yarn, I wouldn't be concerned about it at all. With the superwash, I don't know. We'll see how that works out, but for now it's fine. So that is my Weekender Light. It's finished. This is my, I think, the fourth sweater I've finished this year, because I did the simple stripes that I knit earlier this year. I did this one. I fixed the sleeves on the Ramona. I'm not sure if that really counts. We'll count it. Yeah, we'll count it. Well, actually, I finished it in February, so it does count as a this year sweater. And then I finished Emma's Colorwork, her Halloween sweaters. That's 4 sweaters I did this year. That could be a record, because I'm lucky if I average 1 or 2 sweaters most years. Okay, another finished object I have to show you are my spooky scary socks that I was working on the last time I recorded. This yarn is from Knit Spin Farm. It's her superwash Targi base, and I absolutely love these colors. These socks don't fit me great though, and I'll tell you why. So I'm gonna take this off the sock blocker to talk about this. So it's a shorty sock. I did my usual 60 stitches, 2x1 rib for the cuff, and I made the cuff as long as I usually do for shorty socks. I decided to try something different for the heel though. Instead of my regular slip stitch heel flap, heel turn, and then gusset, I did the heel flap differently. I decided to carry the 2x1 rib down into the heel flap. So instead of doing slip one, knit one, slip one, knit one across the heel flap and then purling back on the inside, I was doing knit 2, purl 1, knit 2, purl 1 with a slip stitch at the beginning of all the rows. I always do that on a heel flap. That gives you a nice edge to pick up your gusset stitches when you go to do that. Anyway, but I was just knitting and purling. There were no slipped stitches involved in this. But then I was still purling back on the inside, so that gives me kind of this, it's almost like a little seed stitch column there where the purls were, which I really love the look of it. However, 2 things. First of all, because there's no slipped stitches, the slipped stitches tend to like pull the heel in a little bit and give it a little bit more stability. And so that doesn't have this, and this is much stretchier than normal heel flap. That's my perception of it. So it does not fit as snugly around the back of my heel. It's not baggy, but it's not as fitted. So that's one thing that I've noticed that's a little odd with it. The other thing I realized, and I actually didn't realize it until today when I was getting them out to show you, because I tried them on again. I'm like, I just don't understand why these don't fit as well. It just felt like the heel flap was not as deep as most of mine are, and I was pretty sure I did it normally. However, what I realized, in a normal heel flap, I usually do 18 rows that I count. Well, it's actually more than 18 rows. I count the slip stitches, and I do it until I have 18 rows of slipped stitches. But a slipped stitch represents 2 rows in your heel flap, because it's the slip one, knit one row, and then the purl row back. That's 1 slipped stitch. I usually do that till there's 18. There's only 30 rows in this heel, so I'm actually 6 rows short. That is why the sock does not fit me properly. It is not as deep. The heel flap is not as deep. So at least I know what I did wrong. I'm obviously not going to rip these socks back. The length is fine for me. I think I'm going to end up giving these to my mom. I'll just give them to her for Christmas. She likes hand knit socks. Her feet are a little smaller than mine, and I think that would probably work out okay for her. I mean, I could rip the toe out and just make the foot a little bit longer to accommodate for the way the heel is fitting, because it feels like it's pulling down on my foot a little bit since this isn't deep enough, but I'm not going to bother. I have about a half, This is what's left. This is about a half of a skein. I think I can make another pair of shorty socks for myself if I dye up maybe like a mini skein of a dark gray, which I would do out of my my Corriedale base, my squish base. It would go fine with this. But that's probably what I'm going to do. These are probably going to end up just being a gift for my mom, which is fine. She likes her socks. So that's another finished object. I am working on another pair of socks right now, which I pulled out. I have a giant bag that I throw all of my socks in that I've started. Oh my gosh, there are a bazillion birds out at the feeder this morning. Sorry, the feeders are right over here behind you. So I have a huge bag that whenever I start knitting samples, like self-striping samples, once I've taken the pictures and everything, I don't always finish the socks right away. So I end up throwing that in a big bag and I figure I'll finish them as socks some other time. Well, I went through that big bag recently because there were so many in it and I'm like, I'm never going to finish these all as socks. So I bound off a few of them and I just have them as samples that I can put little samples of the striping pattern up if I ever need to. But then there were a few that I decided to actually finish. And the first one I'm finishing is my Winter Palette Pie colorway, which I brought out last winter. And I'm going to finish this pair for Emma for Christmas because she likes these colors. So that is my current sitting at the dining room table sock to work on when Emma's not around. So that's all there is to tell you about that. Bounce base. My normal, actually this is not a rib. This is actually before I switched to doing rib socks. So this is still just a stockinette, plain vanilla stockinette sock, which I prefer the ribbed. They're more interesting to knit and I feel like they kind of stay up a little bit better, but she won't care. She'll wear them. So that is a work in progress. The only other thing that I was thinking about working on is my Granny Stripes Cardi, which I pulled out the other day and looked at it. I'm like, I should be able to finish this. I could not figure out why I stopped where I did. I thought I remembered there needing to be something ripped out, but I can't find anything that needs to be ripped out. And I looked at it and I thought, you know what? The armholes are deep enough. I think I should be able to just, start doing whatever. So I seamed up the armholes. Now I'm wearing this over another sweater, so this isn't the greatest way to show it to you. This part's fine. However, you see this? Does this look like this is at all going to close on me? Now again, I am wearing a sweater under it, so it's a little snugger than if I just had a cami or a t-shirt. But dude, this is so small. I've never crocheted a garment before. What I am realizing is that crochet fabric does not have the stretch and give that knit fabric has. Not in any way, shape, or form. Because if this was a knit garment, I might toy with the idea of, oh, I can block that aggressively and get some extra width out of it. There's no way on earth I'm going to be able to block this aggressively enough to make this fit, even with, I'd have to do like 4-inch wide button bands. It's not happening. I don't know what I'm going to do. I am going to knit the sleeve, crochet the sleeves. I'm this far. I'm not ripping it out. I've woven in pretty much all of my ends except these ones up at the very top. There's a lot of work into this already. And I love the colors. I love how it looks. So my plan is I'm going to do the sleeves. And then I'm going to come back and I am going to crochet button bands. Because it's going to go from one bottom all the way up around down to the other bottom. So it'll be one continuous thing. I'm going to crochet. My brain is telling me I'm going to do a single crochet row. I'm going to do one of the uncolored, the natural color, then one of these colors, and then a natural color, and then another color. And I'm going to do that until I get the button band as wide as it looks nice and as wide as I need it to actually keep it on my boobs, because it just wants to whoop out. I don't want it to do that. And it'll just be an unbuttoned cardigan. not my favorite kind of cardigan, but I'm not going to let all this work go to waste. So that's my plan. We'll see how it goes. I am in no hurry to actually do that because I'm sort of frustrated with it at the moment. And I also just found my crochet hook that I need to do it. I couldn't find it. It wasn't in the basket with all the yarn, but I have since found it. Yeah, so I will work on that and get that done eventually, but kind of a bummer that that is not going to fit. I don't know what I did with sizing on that. I have not changed that much in size since I started that. I don't know. Live and learn. So that is pretty much everything I've been knitting and or crocheting on. Not that I've actually actively crocheted on that, but I did ply my first skein of my combo spin. Check it out. I'm so happy with this too. So this combo spin I'm doing specifically to do the DRK Everyday Pullover, which is another Andrew Mallory pattern. So this is the first one. I do have the second skein. I've started to ply it. It's not finished yet. And then I will start working on more singles. But I have over 500 yards on this first skein. Crazy. It'll be less than that once I soak it, but still, that's a lot of yardage. So I'm thinking I'm definitely gonna have enough yardage out of all that fiber that I'm using for my combo spin. But I'm really happy with how it turned out. Love those colors. Other than that, what's bringing me joy right now is we've got a holiday coming up this week. It's Thanksgiving. We really don't do a whole lot for Thanksgiving here. It's going to just be Bill and Emma and I. Honestly, Thanksgiving kind of just ends up being like another day here in our house, but I will make a nice meal. I'm planning on trying to make I want to say a Satan roast. It's not a Satan roast. Seitan, Seitan. It's a vegan thing. And actually Grace from Babel's Traveling Yarns, if you watch her podcast, she did a video, I think last month or maybe in October was last month, about making one. And that's what gave me the idea. I'd heard of it before. It's made with vital wheat gluten, so like if you're gluten sensitive, it's definitely not something you want to eat. But I want to give it a try. So I have everything that I need. I ordered it and I was going to do a test run earlier this month to see if we would like it, but I never had a chance to. So we're going to just go for it. And I figure if it turns out really gross, then I have something I can pull out of the freezer that Emma and I can eat. It'll be fine. I'll make us nachos if I have to, but I did buy a turkey breast for Bill, and I'll make some of the fixins. I actually did find a couple of other really interesting vegetarian friendly recipes that Emma and I can eat. So I think and that Bill would probably like. So I'm going to try some of those. But Emma is actually on vacation from work this week. She took vacation time that she had to use, and we are going to first start cleaning the house because over this past month, while I have been busy working, it's suffered a little. So we're going to do a really good cleaning job in our great room. The living room, dining room, kitchen area is all big open. So I guess that's a great room. I don't know. Anyway, I think it's pretty great. It's just dirty. So we're going to clean that and then start putting up the Christmas decorations, which we would usually do after Thanksgiving, but since she's home this week, it makes sense to do it when she's here to help me. So that is coming up. And other than that, I'm looking forward to that. That's what's bringing me joy, is just having some time to do that. I think we are also going to try to squeeze in time to finish watching Schitt's Creek because we've only got a few episodes left of the final season. And I would like to see them. So we're going to do that too. But anyway, that's what's going on here. I hope you guys have a lovely Thanksgiving. If you're here in the US and you celebrate Thanksgiving, hope it's fun. And if you just do other stuff, then I hope you have fun doing that too. Maybe get outside. I'm hoping to get outside a little bit more now that all the busy is over. I feel like I kind of missed a lot of my opportunities this fall to get outside and enjoy nature. But again, it was just a weird year. But winter's coming. It looks like winter outside right now. But anyway, all right, I'm going to stop babbling. I'll talk to you later. Love you guys. Bye.